Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today we are going to be sharing some random thoughts at 1,000 miles. You know, I've got almost 2,000 on it at this point, but I've taken some copious notes and just wrote down general feelings on the Spyder at 1,000 miles, things that that come to the forefront of my mind as I ride. So if you're in the market for a Spyder and wondering what it's going to be like that first 1,000 miles, what the experience is going to be like, and this will help you make an informed decision. But before we get going, give the video a big old thumbs up, share it with your friends, all that jazz, and without further ado, let's talk about this particular CanAm Spyder. So this is the 2024 CanAm RT Sea to Sky Edition. This is the flagship of the touring models. If you go with the RT Limited, it's going to have pretty much everything this has on it with the exception of the comfort seat and a few little accoutrements. But by and large, it's going to be a very, very fine touring machine. So for the RT Limited or for the Sea to Sky, you can use this for the data. Anything that is going to be of any specificity to the Sea to Sky, I'll certainly point that out. In fact, I'll generally say that this should even work with the base model. All right, so now that we have that out of the way, I want to also be clear that this is not my CanAm Spyder. This belongs to CanAm, Bombardier Recreational Products, BRP. This belongs to them, and they give me the ability to ride this thing for an extended period of time and give you my thoughts on it. And I really appreciate them letting me do that. They don't put any bridles in my mouth or any chains on me. They don't shackle me and tell me what I can and cannot say, and that is a really cool thing. So it gives you an opportunity to get real data from a real guy. Also, I think it helps me in some ways that my pocketbook's not invested in it, so I can be a little more objective. You know, sometimes we become fanboys simply because we paid for it, and we don't want to believe that there could be anything that's a shortcoming of what we bought. Now, I do own a Spyder. I have a 2019 CanAm Spyder RT base model. I love it. It's got, sitting in the garage right now, it's got a little over 30,000 miles on it. I've crossed the continent twice on it, north to south and east to west. It has been absolutely stellar, and this machine is not any different. All right, so all the formalities are out of the way. So let's talk a little bit about the Spyder, just my initial thoughts on it for a 1,000-mile review. So the Spyder, it handles unbelievably well. It's very, very tight steering. So even at 1,000 miles, if you think, you know, wow, the steering is super tight and finite when you first get it, that's not going to go away. In fact, you will adjust to the machine. You'll feel like it's going away. You'll be like, wow, this thing isn't as twitchy as it was when I first got it, but it's every bit as twitchy. You've just changed. The Spyder is known for having very, very sensitive steering. So if you oversteer, which people are prone to do after getting off of a two-wheeled motorcycle, you're going to experience that when you get on the Spyder. That's just the way it is. It's going to happen. I experienced it on my 19. When I got off of my 19 onto this, even though the steering is a little bit different, it's not dramatic. It certainly didn't, you know, propose any challenges to me. They have closed this road up here. They sure have. I guess I'll turn around. Huh. Okie doke. That's not a problem. I know where I am. I guess they're digging a hole. When you dig a hole, I saw the signs, but the other day the signs were up and I drove right through. There was nothing here, so it's hit and miss on some of these closures out here where I live. All right, so the handling is very sharp. It's crisp, and it stays that way. It doesn't get, you know, loose as time goes by. Another thing that I've noticed about the CanAm, especially this particular model, when I say this particular model, year model, not the RT versus whatever. This year model, I'm going to tell you that the heated grips on all of the Spyders is really, really good. The heated grips on this thing, I'm going to tell you, they'll bake your hands. They will bake your hands. The heated seat on this is 5-star. I really appreciate the amount of effort. Now, being a Canadian company, I would expect, you know, it to be really effective when it comes to mitigating any kind of cold weather. You know, I've got a Triumph Tiger, and it's an English motorcycle, obviously, and the heated grips work pretty good. The heated seat, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, you got to kind of focus. If you're not on a really cold morning where there might be a little frost on the seat, you're not going to notice it. But on this thing, you're sitting in the little easy bake oven, man. This thing feels like a heated seat in a refined automobile, and it's really noticeable. So that's definitely an observation on the newer model that I think is a change. I mean, it's always been good, but I think that what I'm experiencing on this is definitely a cut above the ones that I've previously written. If you would, share a comment down below if you have an RT Limited, whether it's you know, from 2020 on, because that's when this generation of Spyder started. From 2020 on, tell me your feelings on the heated seat and the heated grips, if they're all from 2020 to 2025, even coming up soon, what they're going to be like, and how the heated equipment works on it compared to this. Another thing that I've noticed, and you know, I've read that you could bypass this, although I have not found a way to do it, is that the windshield goes up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. I don't like that. I never have liked that. It puts, to me, undue wear on an electric motor. I'd like to just put the windshield where I want it, and it just stay there. Just stay there all the time. All right, I wanted to turn here. I can't turn here either. Okay, looks like they're just trimming a tree here. I think I can get through. Yep. There was another road closed sign right back there. I'm like, my goodness, they got it closed on both ends. You can't come or go. But you know, I'm not a big fan of that. You can put your feelings down below on the windshield going up and down, what you think about that. The ride on this thing, just out of the box, though, if you're a tourer and you want to do big miles, this thing, it really does a phenomenal job. It tracks true and straight. It doesn't pull left or right. It doesn't bounce you all over the road. I know that you can get on a road with a crown and it can move you a little bit, or you can get on a road that's real rough and it can bounce you a little bit. But that's true whether I'm in my Ram truck or on this or on a two-wheeler or whatever. In fact, I will say that on this, as you're going over changes in surfaces, what you're going to realize is the Spyder is the most stable vehicle as far as motorcycling. You know, this type of thing. It is the most stable of all of them. I've ridden all the trikes. I've ridden the regular traditional one wheel up front, and this thing tracks true because having the two wheels up front makes a magnificent difference. Having that large surface patch of the two tires on the front helps you with your handling. It helps you hold a line, and if you get a little bump or something, you just don't experience that lack of stability that you would in the conventional, you know, single wheel up front. There's a lot of geometry going on the front of all of these things, whether it's a traditional trike or a reverse trike like this, that when you're turning, you have these massive patches of rubber on the front on the Spyder. On a traditional motorcycle, you look at the tire, that front tire, and you just have the part that's touching the ground. It's about that long and about that wide on a traditional tire. That's all you have on the ground. And if that thing hits oil or hits water as you're tracking through a turn, you're going to push that front tire. There's nothing against saying, oh, I hate the Harley, I hate this. I don't hate any of those things. I think they're great. But to not recognize the design would just be silly. I have motorcycles that are newer and older, and all of them have their little idiosyncrasies. But the stability tracking through a turn, Spyder is it's just absolutely above anything I've ridden in the three-wheeled world. Another thing that I did notice on the Spyder that I think most people are going to be readily aware of is gas mileage. You can share again down in comments what kind of gas mileage you're getting. I hear a lot of people tell me they're getting 35 miles to the gallon. I have never, on this or on my 19, I've never been able to do 35 miles to the gallon, ever. And if I do, I must have the cruise set on like 45, because when I'm running down the interstate, I'm going to be doing minimum 68, maximum 80 for the most part, unless I'm passing someone. And so I'm doing 30, maybe 31. And it doesn't matter whether I'm 1 up or 2 up, I still get around that 30, 31 miles to the gallon. If I've got Coach Vic on here and I'm pulling a trailer, it can be as low as 29 and a half. But normally it's that 30, 31 mile point. That's where your gas mileage is. And I can say that as a rider, if you're looking at a Spyder and you're looking at the possibility of getting one out in the future, that is a fair assessment to anticipate that 30-ish miles to the gallon, 29 to 32. And if you get better than that, count your lucky stars. And if you get worse than that, you probably got something wrong. Maybe check your tire pressure or go on a diet. I just couldn't resist that. Old interstate sitting right over there, man. I'm just cruising right along beside it. I love it. This is one of those access roads you see off the side. You go, oh, I wonder where that road goes. Well, now you know. Now you know where it goes. It goes where old Coach Bob is. All right, well, before we continue, give the video a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, all that stuff. And you know I would greatly appreciate it. All right, we're gonna have a nice stop here coming out of this turn. I can tell you on my triple one day, my Triumph Speed Triple, I about busted my bohunkus right there. It got ugly. Another thing you're going to notice when you get on the Spyder is the acceleration. The acceleration is smooth and steady. It's not a rocket ship, you know, and you'll notice that out of the box. If you're an old motorcycle guy and you've done the wheelies and, you know, the burnouts and all that stuff, and you have the super loud mufflers and all that, this is not that experience. When you get on the Spyder, it's going to be more refined. It's going to be, you know, you're going to, as an older guy, to me, I just describe it, it's more gentlemanly, you know. This is a tweed jacket and a pipe, not a leather jacket and a cigar. It's different. It's just different. And for me, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for a more refined ride. I wanted the experience to be more mature. I'm more mature. And so I wanted the Spyder to have that feel. And when you get on the Spyder, you're going to immediately experience that. The very first time I rode one, I wasn't a big fan. I rode a 2014, and it had the Rotax, the same engine that this one has in it. And the first thing in my mind was, my God, this thing is so slow. It's unbelievable. It's painful. But I was thinking in terms of more sport bike. And Coach Vic, my wife, she was blown away. She was like, Bob, this thing is so smooth. This is like posh. And what I discovered over time was that there's more than just 0 to 60. There's more than just dealing with this or that. It's the overall ride. It's the journey. It's the trip. It's the experience. And the Spyder is a very refined, prestigious feeling experience. And it's quite wonderful. It's quite wonderful. This particular Spyder certainly gives you that feeling. This Spyder, when you see it, the fashion touches of it, I'll call, you know, when you look at the seat. The seat has that splash of brown saddle tan leather over the black. It's beautiful. The color, it's a beautiful color. It's a pearl kind of white. They call it Vegas white. It's a very, very, very nice color. All of the color cues, the palette, everything's tied together. It was well thought out, and I really think it's quite a beautiful machine. I think that if you get one, you're not gonna regret it. I mean, you might, but I never would. The riding experience is wonderful. So I know what you're saying. You're saying, Coach, you know, you got this thing, and BRP gives it to you, and you know, and everything's, you know, rainbows and butterflies, and I don't get it. You know, is the world really full of unicorns, Coach? You know, is it really, you know, fairy dust? Is it really that nice? I would say pretty much, yeah. Are there things I dislike about it? I'm going to be saving some of that for my next video, which is 5 things I love, 5 things I hate. That'll be coming out next week, so be sure and come back to see that. But they weren't things that jumped out at me as my random thoughts were popping through my head as I was crossing 1,000 miles. I was thinking about what would a rider experience? What would he feel the first time on the Spyder? And he would feel the smooth shifting, the refined acceleration, the quiet ride, the windshield blocking the wind so it's not buffeting you. I'm 6'2", so I'm a tall rider, and I am long-waisted, so I'm taller from my hip bones to my shoulders than most people that are my height. So knowing that, I would sit above the windshield. I would sit maybe like a 6'4" rider would sit, as far as from saddle to the top of my head, and I don't experience any buffeting. And I'm wearing an adventure helmet, and the adventure helmet is very, very quiet. It doesn't beat me up at all. I've got other helmets that I wear when I tour, and I wear earplugs, and I suggest earplugs no matter what you're riding if you're touring. But this thing, man, does a great job. Zero buffeting, zero buffeting. I'm not exhausted when I get off of this thing in the afternoon. You can do hundreds of miles easily a day on this motorcycle and be completely happy and not beat to death when you get there. You know, I've done trips with friends of mine. I got a lot of friends on Harleys, and they'll do the 300-400 mile days, and they're beat. They're beat, man, after about 5 of those. I can do 600 miles a day, 5 or 6 days, and I'm not really beat. Now, Coach Vic's body, you know, it's a little more challenging for her, but for me, it really isn't. Now, anyone that's been a part of the channel for quite a while understands that back in April, I had a little heart episode, and so when I was building my stamina back up, I would go out on my Tiger, and I would go out on my SV or my Triumph Triple, and I would be exhausted. I mean, I would be exhausted, and my heart rate would be all over the place, and I'd get on this, and it was very, very comfortable. So this really does make a difference. You're not as engaged with fighting the machine, and I know you're saying, well, if you're fighting the motorcycle, you're doing it wrong. Well, it's a dance, okay? You're not having to dance as hard. So there it is, 1,000 miles, what it feels like, the experience, the refinement, the gas mileage. Also, dependability. This thing has been rock solid dependable since the day it came to my house. If I put the key in it, it cranks. I put the gas in it, it runs. Whether it's a 100-mile day or a 500-mile day, doesn't matter. I'll be doing a big day here soon. I'm going to be going to Daytona. I'll be doing a 500 to a 600-mile day that day, just to get a good idea, a vibe of what the Spyder feels like doing a super long day, and then that way you'll know. I don't expect any surprises. I did a video here recently, and I'll leave a link right up here or down below on, you know, this thing being a phenomenal commuter, and it is. In fact, when I get done with this video, I'm running up to Publix and I'm picking up some things for groceries for Coach Vic, because she wants some special things for supper tonight. Some peppers that I cook up for her that she loves, and so I'm going to get all that going. So even as a grocery getter, this thing it's just awesome. It's awesome. All right, well, I want to say thank you for sticking around this long. One more thing before I go, and that is that I repeat, I will be going to Bike Week this year. I've gotten several emails on that and a lot of questions, and I'll be trying to go back and address those comments. But I will be going to Bike Week, and I'll let you know the dates when, but it will be in the middle of the week. It won't be on the weekends. I try to go when things are a little more sane. And all of this will be based on the health of my daughter. Again, anyone who's watched the channel for a while understands my daughter has major health issues going on, and so I have to be deeply engaged in her world. So, but the plan is to go to Bike Week, and I will be sharing a couple of other things that I plan on doing here very, very soon, and look forward to seeing you guys on the road, because you're awesome and I love you. All right, well, there you have it, another one in the books. So you do me a favor till next time. You, yes you, go out by the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you are most definitely doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day, and I'll see you on the road real soon. But I'm going to go for a ride, and then I'm going to go get Coach Vic something special so I can make her a really good meal that can make her big and strong.